naked shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. JP, what's up? All right, everybody. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live, episode 51. Finding your spirit animals. So hopefully you can stay with me here for the next 60 to 90 minutes and just kind of hang out with me. And like we do all our shows, we kind of set a tone and a theme for all the things we're going to do. So today our candle is brought to you by the brown candle. And the brown candle is about house blessings, pets, animals, earth, stability, locating lost items. So for those of you who have lost items, the brown candle is a good candle to light. This is about house blessings, pets, and animals. So it's kind of good according to the show we're going to be doing, and earth. So we're going to light the candle. When we light this candle, we light it to remember the people that we lost in our lives, the people who we care about, those who are in our lives, and to just give thanks to Mother Earth, give thanks to our four-legged creatures and our four-legged little friends. And so we also light a little bit of sage. Okay. Don't burn the house down here. Very good. There we go. Get that sage. Take the smoke into your eyes so you can see all the beautiful things. Take the smoke into your mouth so you can speak all the beautiful things. Take the smoke into your ears so you can hear all the beautiful things. Take the smoke into your heart, into your spirit, into your soul, so you can be one with all the beautiful things in the universe. So our sage helps us move the little negativity out of our way, kind of clear our space. A smudge bath is always really good. My sage space. My sage place. Very good. And the companion for the sage is also the wormwood. For me, personally, I like wormwood. Here I'm lighting my wormwood. It burns really slow, very gently. And this is for calming. This is for relaxing. And to ground your energy, ground your body a little bit back to the earth a little bit, so you're not so far out there. So many of us run so fast and so high, so it's really nice to put a little calming effect on your body. Feel that. Very good. Move this over here. That way it's out of my way. That'll burn during our show. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's enjoying the first day of the week. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. It was my dad's birthday this weekend. It was nice to hang out with him and be with him. I kind of missed his actual birthday on Saturday. I got confused and, just, I don't know, just happens. But this weekend I hung out with my friends, with Adriana and with Mary. We all kind of just went out and went on a little road trip, which was really nice. It was nice to get out of Columbus and do something different. See different things, see different aspects, see old towns, old cities, and stuff like that. So it was really cool and it was really fun. But today I just wanted to share some news with you, that some cool things are happening. I don't know if those of you who know my friend Jan Keevan and I have been working on a project together, and that project has been kind of a I don't want to call it secret, but it's been kind of in the plans. We've been kind of like trying to figure out how we're gonna do it, when we're gonna do it. So we actually have a new center that's coming together here, and it's called My Sage Place. Okay, so for those of you who are into the metaphysical and holistic, and just try to find some new ways of seeing life and approaching life, we're going to be doing a lot of classes. We're going to be doing a lot of fireside meditations. It's coming out especially out of our home. We're going to have a cool teepee that's going to be erected in the backyard. So there's some cool things coming up. I don't want to give away too much yet because some things are still kind of being worked out. We're hashing out some things. But be looking in our calendars, especially my calendar, since her site's not up yet. You'll be seeing a lot of updates. There'll be some cool classes coming up. Our classes are going to be scheduled there. So those of you who want to learn a little bit more about, the work we do and the work that you're going to do someday and how you're going to manifest into that arena, then I'll have the website up pretty soon, but it's mysageplace.com for those of you who are going to be really interested and kind of excited about that. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We've got some sweat lodges coming up. We got all kinds of cool and neat drummings and sound baths and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm pretty excited because this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and this is something that I've been working and manifesting in my own world. And little by little, when the right players show up and the right people come together, it's there. It's there, and we're ready, and I'm excited that Spirit has guided the right people into my path. Some people have come, some people have left, some people are coming in. Regardless, it's always a cool time, and I won't burn the house down for those of you who are watching there. Either way, but I wanted to talk a little bit today about something that's close to my heart, something that I really like, because in the shamanic world and in the metaphysical world, we have a lot of different things that we call spirit guides, things that we invite into our lives, and things that we share, that we kind of get into that place where we want to commune with Spirit. And so Spirit has many ways to commune with us, and Spirit has many ways to access that knowledge that's buried inside of us, and that knowledge that sits above us and around us, through us. And so the best way to get connected to Spirit is to get connected with your spirit guides. And your spirit guides can be people, they can be plants, it can be anything. Spirit guides come in many shapes and sizes and different types of forms. But for this particular show, we're going to be talking about your animal spirits. Animal spirits are very powerful totems. They're very powerful medicine. The animal kingdom has been, for 150,000 years, has been the most dominant species here on this planet. And us as human beings, maybe, hiding in the caves and hiding in the crevices and stuff, and avoiding, the animal kingdom, because number one, we're not first apex predator. We're not a predator in the sense of the animal kingdom. We have become the top per se predator in the sense of how we overpopulate and we take spaces and places. But the animal kingdom has its pecking order. It has its levels and its degrees and how things work and how it functions. For a lot of people, we think that humans are the dominant species. We only dominate because we have sheer numbers, number one. Number two, we have created a system in order to protect our vulnerability, because we're very, very vulnerable. When you look at the human species compared to other life forms here on this planet, we are actually pretty vulnerable. We're pretty weak. We're pretty, just our children are born, the process of 9 months, and they're not born ready to walk in this planet. They're not ready to walk on this earth. Most of your animals that are born, especially in a lot of African countries, any countries actually, in a lot of animals, almost every animal except for certain species are ready to go. A water buffalo is ready to go. A giraffe is ready to go as soon as it's born. The mom looks at the animal and gives it a couple licks and takes off that layer of embryonic you know, skins and stuff, the placenta and all that thing's connected to the baby. And then once it's done, you know, the baby's ready to walk, the baby's ready to go. Because if the baby's not ready to go, the baby's going to be dinner for somebody. Okay, so human beings over the course of time have had to work to, you know, combat the fact that they are vulnerable and they're a weaker species. Intelligent wise, are we more intelligent? No, we just put our brains together. We've learned to accept that, you know, we're not the dominant creature, so we had to improvise. You know, we're still pretty vulnerable. If we'd walk out into the jungles and the woods, and you know, there's just bound to be bad news. There was a report just the other day, a woman got eaten by an alligator in Florida. She was walking her 2 dogs. You know, the only thing they found was her arm inside of the alligator. That's a good example how we live amongst nature, how we live in this modern world, and nature always finds a way to recuperate, bring back, take back. You eventually become somebody's lunch if you're not careful, or they become your lunch, one or the other. So the animal kingdom and your spirit animals are all, you know, connected in some way or another. So first, you know, especially in this work that we do, we have to know that we are servants to this Mother Earth, that we are here to help her, not hurt her, in the ways capacity we do. Most animals don't pollute Mother Earth. Most animals don't go off and just litter and let their junk just fly wherever. Okay, there's a purpose to this madness, but human beings are not really. The equation is really weird. So we have to ask, where do we come from? How did we get here? How did we evolve? How did we get to this point where we're actually dominant species over animals just because we have guns, we have knives, you know, we have machinery, we have homes, we have buildings. We just overtake, kind of like a virus in sorts. So even if the alligator who ate the woman, the alligator's not really doing nothing but being in its world, doing its thing, and just surviving and doing what alligators do. You know, they live in their water, they live on the land, they get bigger, stronger, faster, and you know, their job is to maintain the ecosystem, maintain that the ecosystem is taken care of. Too many of this, too many of that. You know, there's a story about the wolves that they set free out west, and because it was they were having some serious problems with just the way the land was being devoured by all the species of animals that were there. You know, the non-carnivorous animals were eating all the plant life and stuff. So the wolves were brought in order to bring balance. No one really knew that was going to occur. They had a theory and had an idea that was going to happen. But what ended up happening was that the wolves were the top predators, so they would eat the moose, the deer, whatever, and that way not all the vegetation, all the plant was eaten away. So everything grew according. There's a balance to nature. There's a balance to what happens and why animals do the things they do and why they are where they are. The thing is, we take that equation out of balance when we have fear. Okay, so our fear is, if we have wolves in our backyard, they're going to eat our kids. They're going to eat us. Yeah, most likely that could happen. Absolutely. If there's too much of something, we're out of balance. But think about this. The wolves were probably there and they will eat us because we're out of balance. The bear will eat us because we're out of balance. You know, so the top apex predators will come in and they will eat the things that are much weaker. And so we are a weaker species. So it's not uncommon to hear, you know, where people have been mauled by bears, that people have been taken by, you know, mountain lions and things like that. So I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to tell you that Mother Nature has a balance. There is a rhythm to her madness. There is a rhythm to why she does the things she does and why there has to be balance. Right now, we are completely out of balance. We are not in the rhythm, in the cadence that we need to be in. You know, we're overusing, overpopulating, over spending. You know, we're overcrowding, and especially in concentrated areas versus us trying to live off the land. There are some of us who do that, but we don't. We're very, I hate to use the word, sheep-like, but everything's pretty much catered to us. Even when we're to the point where we're almost kind of, even if we're vegan or vegetarian, even they box things for us and they make things for us, but that's the system we're in. Some of you here, online, probably grow your own things, you know, probably do all the things that you do. you know. So it's possible to live to some extent that way, but we're still connected into this 3D world. We're still manifesting, we're still moving through this 3D world. We still have to shop, we still have to buy, we still have to fill up our cars, because that's how we live. So how can we live in this environment that we've created and still be connected to the animals and the things that are around us? First of all, we have to understand that everything, all things, are all my relations. We're connected to everything. To think that we're separate from one thing or another is not. Even the person that you like or dislike, you're still connected to them, even through the likeness or dislikeness, or the, you know, just not being in congruence with them. But they're still part of you. They're still an aspect of you. They are still the human connection to you. I'm as connected to the wolf as the wolf is connected to me. I'm as connected to this chair as the chair is connected to me. We all work in a symbiotic relationship. We're all connected in one way. So when we get to the point now, when we talk about our animal guides and our animal spirits, there are many things that we can attribute to spirituality and how we use it and how it works and manifests through us. Okay, so for example, I'm gonna pick a card, okay, and this card is it's a Beaver card, and this card is about productiveness. Go ahead and just do it. So this card right here that I'm using, okay, just to reading, and I want to give credit to the person who wrote this, and this is Stephen D. Farmer, PhD. So for those of you who want animal cards, and this is a good deck. I love this deck. This deck is really good. It's going to be used a little bit in our class here, and I also have a good friend, you know, who's written books. Many friends who have done stuff. So Blue Sect, he's a Native American Cherokee, so he also had written something. So excuse me. So what I want to talk to you about is, for example, this Beaver card. Okay, at first glance, we have to understand what we're reading. Remember now, these cards are pre-written for you. These cards are pre-ordained in a sense, by somebody else's vision, somebody else's guidance. Anytime that you are doing the connection with spirit, anytime you're doing a connection with animal guides or some kind of guide, it must be, and it should always be, a personal journey. It should always be something that belongs to you, something that you're connected to. It's easy to go Google, it's easy to go and read something, and I have nothing against that, because that's how we get some of our greatest insight sometimes, when we learn from other people. So first thing when you do connection with spirit guides, when you're trying to connect with animal totems, is to try to understand yourself, what the message is, what you think the message is. Because I'm going to tell you, you're going to be half right according to what you're going to be reading into, because half of that message is yours and there's another half that's kind of missing. So there's a half truth in that. So what you're going to read, so part of it's you, part of it's spirit. So part of you is going to read into how you see it. So if I was to give you this card, everybody kind of use your imagination, don't read all the things. I'll show you Beaver. What's the first things that come to your mind? What's the first thing that plays out in your imagination? You know, the playground of your creation, the imagination. What plays out? What is going on? Now, I can only tell you what goes on in my mind, what happens, and what's going to, you know, move out forward from that belief. And I look at Beaver. Okay, for example, I'll look at the Beaver spirit. Let's look at Beaver. Aquatic, partially, okay? It's furry, okay? It's a mammal. But those are really simple characteristics that we see just about in any creature. But what does a creature do? What is a creature known for? Okay, so this is where you start to understand and break, and you start to look. Beaver, okay, creates, builds wonderful structure, okay? The beaver starts making all kinds of things. So you look at the aspects of yourself. What do you need to either create? What do you need to work? What do you need to build? Okay, that's one aspect. That's how you're reading a sign, an animal sign, when it comes to you. The other half of that is what also happens when a beaver creates the dam that he or she makes. Well, there becomes blockage. There becomes stagnancy. Okay, There becomes a rerouting of energies, a rerouting of belief systems, a rerouting of just your whole environment. Okay, if we stay in the same place and we keep building on the same principles and same energy, okay, then something happens. And so this is how you read. This is how you read animal spirits and totems. By first you always trying to figure out what you think it is. Until now, if you're stuck, that's when you Google, and that's when you reach out to someone like me or somebody else. But you're going to be kind of half right when you at least attempt it. Okay. All right. So the beaver is about doing the work, doing it, and just doing the work and building. But also, there's also another aspect to it that as you're building the work, you have to keep moving energies. You have to keep clearing energy. You have to keep moving that stuff that's stuck. Okay, because it's easy to go down there, chop a tree down. You know how they do with their big old teeth. And they're very smart and they're builders, yeah. And I think Chris, you said that they're builders. That's correct. They are builders. But where are they building? Where are you building? How are you building? So we also have to be mindful of how we're engaging with other people, how spirit's engaging with us. Now we come across a beaver and we see a beaver. So the first instinct is, what is the beaver doing? Oh wait, guess what? Beaver lives in the woods. So you know what, beaver? He's doing or she's doing the things that we do. We just live. Maybe the beaver's going, oh look, human. I wonder what the spirit of the human means to me. I wonder what it means to him. It means it means a lot of things actually. Maybe it's time to move. Either way, sometimes they're there to give us messages. Sometimes we're there to just observe. So if I was to run in and see the beaver at work, if I was out in the woods on a hike, then I could read into it however I want. But at that particular moment, I've been blessed with the opportunity to observe, to partake, to build, and to see what aspects in my life reflect back from the beaver. So what's the beaver and I doing? What's the beaver doing that I'm not doing? Or vice versa. What is something that maybe the beaver says, hey, I need to do it this way, or maybe I need to approach it this way. But beavers also understanding that we're able to control much more than we believe we can. A beaver can dam up that whole waterway and cause a whole bunch of havoc. Okay, so where you're building your foundations, the beaver is also telling you, where are you building your foundations? Are your foundations solid? Are your foundations proper? Are you clogging up your own flow? It's easy to clog up our own flow sometimes. So beaver, even though you may think of it as a positive light, and it could be, being productive, building, creating, there are also aspects of the beaver that we have to look at and go, okay, wait, you know what? I'm also blocking my flow. I'm not putting my home in the proper place. I'm not putting myself in a proper alignment. Okay, so learn how to navigate the animals first, understanding their behaviors and their patterns, and then they move back to us. So that's super important to know. So when the beaver's in the productive mode, that's powerful and that's awesome. But there's also another aspect to that productivity. Where there's productivity, there's also waste. There's also things that are left behind. There's also things that are discarded. What's up, Rob? So we just moving through. So I'm going to pull up another card for you. I'm not going to read it yet until after. But we got Mr. or Mrs. Monkey. Can you see that card? Okay. Before I read what Dr. Farmer said, I want you to visualize in your head. I want you to picture, if you have to close your eyes, I want you to picture what monkey means to you. What does monkey mean? What is monkey? First impressions. And please feel free to type in and also be on this live stream as well and share what you think monkey is. Okay, monkey is good medicine. Okay, you'll hear me say words like medicine, spirit guides. Okay, because we can take from these animals, by invitation, we can take what they teach us and incorporate it into our lives, the aspects and things that we're missing. Okay? So when you look at monkey is about ingenuity. Okay? The situation calls for adaptability, innovation. Okay? Yes, freedom, ease, high. Monkey is about play. Monkey is about being not so serious. Okay? Monkey is also about knowing how to focus your energy when you're in a state of mind. So now when we look at monkey, for example, this particular monkey on this card, okay? Monkey also is a reminder for us to go, okay, you can never have enough fun, but when is it time to play? When is it time to adapt? When is it time to innovate? When is it monkey around? When is it time to be serious? Because remember, there's also a contradiction to the card that you read when you also run into the monkey medicine, when you run into animal spirits of monkey. Monkey's a powerful totem. Monkey's a very powerful medicine. Okay, it could be so powerful that you can find yourself alienating people by being too extreme in one way and too extreme the other. Monkeys have they're very temperamental. Okay, monkeys are very playful, and monkeys are very curious. So when we look at this, we have to look at our aspects of ourselves. They're probably one of our closest relatives of all the animal creatures. They have a similarity to us. We're very different. We're still very different, but yet we have a similarity. Okay, but monkey is about in knowing, in being in the present moment. That's what a monkey card is. When you pull monkey energy, it's knowing that you're in the present moment. Most of your animal cards that you're going to get today and everything we're going to talk about is being present in the moment. Animals don't really think about the past too much, if they do at all. Animals don't really think about the future except when they're getting ready to do the hibernation thing or gather their nuts and stuff for the winter. That's instinctual. But there's so much we don't know about animals. We just assume that they just do it because that's just the way it always has been. No. They have a spirit, they have a soul, they have a guidance in them just as we have a guidance inside of us. Remember, we're all related, all my relations. So monkey is just telling you, learn to adapt, have fun, be with it, time to be serious. But even in the seriousness that you're in, play. So monkey comes and presents itself to you. You see monkeys all the way. I see people say, monkey's just present himself or herself to me all day long. So you ask people, so what does that mean to you? Oh, I don't know. But most of you said, climber, family, fun, freedom, ease, high. So we find the positive aspects of things. But we also have to find, I don't want to use the word negative, but there are negative connotations to things sometimes when we don't want to be so out of alignment with the things that are around us. We also want to be able to focus that monkey can also mean that we also have to look at ourselves and say, okay, then there's aspects that we need to work on as well. So when you bring in the totem of monkey energy, it is good energy, positive energy, loving energy, fun energy. Okay, and monkey is very, very, how would you say, ornery energy. But it also, it also is time to just relax. So if you pull energy of monkey, that's good energy. Now, our next card, okay, before I read it, is the raven or the crow. Okay, for those of you who resonate with the animal kingdoms of flight, our feathered friends. Okay, the winged ones, as we call them. The winged ones are very powerful totems. They are the ones that are up in the air, in the sky. So now, take a moment to think, what does the raven mean to you? I mean, just the word raven in itself conjures up some very powerful energies, conjures up some very magical energies. Okay, and when you think of the raven, there's some very poignant imageries that come out. Number one, the raven is very dark, very black. But is the raven black because we call it black? So when raven presents ourselves, do we look at raven as something that is good or bad? So let me ask you, if I say you have raven energy, would you look at it as a negative connotation or a positive connotation? Okay, because we all take on the spirit likeness of animals, and we behave like certain types of animals, and we don't even know it sometimes. So if I had asked you guys here on the live stream, crow or raven energy, what's the first things that come to your mind? What do you see? What do you picture? Now wait for some of your answers there. Because remember, the birds of flight are always connected to spirit. All animals are connected to spirit, but birds of flight are always more connected to spirit and all the things around it. So this particular deck, it talks about the raven being magic and owning your own power. Okay? Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe, yes. So it's about magic. The raven's there to remind you. Okay, just because the raven is black doesn't mean that it's a shadow aspect. The raven's there to remind us that, we are also the magic inside of us. Okay? and that we own our own power, and then the power that we have within ourselves, okay, we can present it forward. Now the shadow side of that is that sometimes we get caught in the stories. Raven can get caught in the stories of his own power, of his own magic, and only they believe it, which is okay. But then Raven's frustrated because Raven can't share that with the world, because the world doesn't see his magic or her magic the same way. But it's about owning our own power and being in our own energy. So Raven energy, Crow energy is very, very magic energy, very positive, and very, very strong. So our spirit animals are there to guide us. So when a raven presents himself, and we get crows all the time and ravens, especially here in Ohio, you're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see a lot of them, and they're going to cross your paths. Okay? So when we get energy from raven, it also is a representation of looking beyond the appearances that we see. Being able to go forward into, projecting into the ceasefire regions of our belief systems. Being able to see with further on. But for a lot of us, it's difficult to see until we can connect with Raven, because Raven takes us into that space. We are able to open our wings and fly and go high and see things that we didn't see. So it's also a message to us going, okay, Spirit saying, hey, you know what? There's magic to be seen. You just have to spread your wings, get them up there, and you'll be able to see what you need to see. But a lot of it's belief and a lot of the work we do. Now, if there's any questions, please feel free to type them in and I'll read them. Now the other one, the next one is the rabbit. Okay. And like I said, I'm not going to give you the card reading until a little bit later. The rabbit. So think about rabbit. What's the first things that comes to your mind? What are the things that pop in your head? If you, and I know all of you have had rabbit cross your path, right? Especially now in the springtime, there's tons of rabbits all over the place. What is the first thing you see? What's the first energetic draw you feel? What is something that you just, when you see a rabbit, you just know, it just moves you. And the rabbit is a powerful medicine, because rabbit is probably one of the most gentle creatures that I'm aware of, besides the chinchilla. Maybe the chinchilla's kind of mean. I take that back. No, I'm sure. But anyhow, rabbit is a pretty docile animal, but they're also very powerful. They can be very destructive, okay, to our gardens, right? For those of us who are growing our greens and vegetables. But they're doing their natural thing, their natural, instinct. Rabbit is a very fertile creature. They breed like crazy. So rabbit is about fertility, okay? Your creativity, and it's being at its peak. The fertility aspect of rabbit is this. Rabbit shares its fertile things. So we're creating the looks within ourselves. Okay, when you go through the medicine wheel of us takes us inward. Okay, we go inside. We have to look of the fertile parts of us that we can work on, things that we need to share and things that we need to create. Rabbit's about creativity. So we're able to create. Rabbits create all kinds of amazing things. They create more rabbits. But the thing is about the aspect of us, who we are. Okay, when Spirit presents you with a rabbit, the rabbit is there to remind you that there are things that you have to work on. Okay, you may be gentle, you may be soft, you may be moving forward, but Spirit is there also to remind you, okay, walk softer, move forward more gently, be happy-go-lucky more. If you're not timid enough, be more timid. Beauty. So we have to look at the things that we're reading, how we're reading it, because I'm reading all your comments there on the page. The rabbit is very powerful medicine, super powerful medicine. As much as you think the rabbit is timid, soft, or whatever, it is also very, very protective of its environment. It's very keen, it's very smart, very intelligent. So anytime you get rabbit, there's an aspect of us that we have to look inside of ourselves that we need to work on. So rabbit is a true reminder of things that we have to work on. Okay, so all the things that you said just now, everything that you just wrote on here, you have to apply it to you. Okay, are you saying that you're soft, you're timid, you're happy-go-lucky? Are those aspects that we need to work on? Okay, because if we look at the rabbit and that conjures up that image in our mind, then the rabbit medicine is important. The rabbit's medicine is important for us to engage and to work with. So that's our rabbit. I'm going to shuffle this deck here. All right. Most of you probably already know this one, but it's the eagle. Okay. First thing that comes to my mind, most of you probably on your minds, is this amazing creature, this amazing, beautiful bird that just flies up in the air and just totally in alignment with spirit. Okay. And that's what the card's about. It's about the sees far aspect of ourselves. It's about connection with spirit, trust in your higher self. That's what the show's about, is to trust in the aspects of all these different animals that cross our paths. Every day animals cross our paths, and every day they're there to remind us about things that we need to work on, or things that we are work on, and they're also there to give us, saying, hey, good job, you're doing a great job. They're giving us validation. Good job, So eagle is about connecting with spirit, higher self. It's the messenger from spirit. The eagle flies high, carries message from spirit, brings it down. As soon as you see an eagle, you're just in awe. It's about being up at the top. It's about being able to see everything. It's about being connected with everything. Because when you're up at 2 miles up in the sky, flying, that's pretty high. And just the sheer being up there in that flight is amazing to even think about. You have to really think about that, to be up there and just observing everything below you. That's magic. Okay, so eagle is very powerful medicine, very, very, very amazing energy, very strong energy. Okay, but it's an aspect about looking beyond where we're at. Eagle's here to remind you that there's more beyond the peaks and the valleys that we've fallen in and out of. Eagle's there to say, hey, you know what? I need you to look forward. I need you to climb the mountain. And then when you get to the top of the mountain, there might be another mountain. But when you're at, turn around and look and see where you've been, where you're going. Also acknowledge the successes that you've done along the way. Eagle's there saying, you know what? We're not finished, but turn and look from time to time. Be appreciative of what you've created in this moment. Be appreciative of the things that you're going to create. Be appreciative of those who've helped you along the way. Eagle's there to remind us about that. To say, hey, you know what? You're doing good. Keep going. Don't stop. Trust in your higher self. Trust in spirit. Trust in that higher vibration. Trust that you're on the right path. That's what eagle's about. Trusting that you're on the right path. And when we can trust that we're on the right path, it makes things a lot easier to know that we have a good ally in eagle. Now, for some of you, and some of you have told me, Iggy, I've had a hawk fly past my windshield. And what was that message? Okay, well, it's spirit reminding you of several things. Number one, that hawks were here before we had cars, and they will keep being here before we have cars. They're flying around doing their normal thing. Everything that we think about is a normal occurrence. We see things, we see deer get hit, we see animals get hit all the time, but you know what? Their paths and their worlds were already here before we were. Where they were already, their ancestral lines, their ancestral, breeding grounds and stuff, and feeding grounds have been covered by roads and buildings and stuff. So they try very hard to get back to where they come from. They know. So if a hawk flies past your windshield, it is possible, if you look to the right, that there is a message from spirit saying, hey, you know what? You need to slow down. On the right side of you, there could be something. There could be something coming in from the left of you. So you know what? Maybe you need to step back just a tidbit, not push the gas pedal so hard, and then you are. I've heard stories where that's happened. The hawks passed their windshield, and then, they slowed down, and then there was a rock that came off a cliff, and they missed them by inches. I've heard all kinds of crazy stuff. But hawks are powerful. Hawks are like the eagle medicine. Okay, they have a very similar connection to spirit. They're really there to send you messages. I actually saw a hawk come, I don't know where it came from the sky, of course. And this rabbit, I'm looking at this rabbit, and I have this on YouTube. It's on a private setting. But this is before I recorded. I don't know, I saw the rabbit, and then the next thing I just saw this, just the hawk just got the rat, and it was big, man. I mean, it was huge. This hawk was big, and the rabbit was pretty big too, but the hawk was huge. I mean, it stood up. It was probably, its head was probably, you know, probably up just past my, it was just really, and you know what? I saw that happen, and I said, I gotta turn around. I came back around the block, and I pulled over, and I watched this hawk just devour this little rabbit. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, whoa. And so I'm thinking, what's the message here for me? You know, I'm thinking, I get to witness nature, you know, at its finest, and I'm watching this all happening on the side of a road, on a busy street, and life is just going on regardless. And these two sentient beings in this magical dance of working, you know, recreating, procreating, and, you know, just making, you know, the circle of life, completing it. And I'm watching this, and I'm witnessing this. And so I'm looking at this creature eating this rabbit, and I'm thinking, it's looking at me like I'm not too far from it. Maybe I'm about 6 feet, but I'm in my car, and I'm looking through the window, and I'm videotaping this, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a majestic creature, you know, eating this other majestic creature. And the hawk is just doing its natural thing. And then the imagery plays in my mind. What does that mean? What does Spirit want to send to me about the rabbit aspect? What does Spirit want to send to me about the hawk aspect? Because they're all in play. They're all in play right now. All these things are in play. Okay, so looks within is the rabbit. Okay, the sees far is the hawk. Excuse me. So I have 2 points on the medicine wheel that I'm looking at and that I'm engaging in, and I'm going, looks within is the things that I have to look into myself about things I need to work on. So what is it that's eating me, okay, that I can't see in my future? And the sees far. And the hawks there remind me, if I don't work on the aspects, you know, of my, you know, my present moment to my future, that I'm going to have something eat me. You know, it's eating me alive inside. Something's eating me, and I'm not comfortable with it. Okay, so I was really thinking about that, and I was like, wow, there are some things that I need to work on. And Spirit left me this message about some things that I had to work on, and that's how it works. You know, if you're able to break down the medicine wheel, okay, the medicine wheel is a very important key to how you connect with Spirit, how you connect with animals. And, you know, all my relations, the hawk eats the rabbit gets eaten. You know, the hawk poops guano. The guano goes back to the earth, fertilizes the ground. Things grow. So there's a cycle there, and everything's going round and round in a reminder. And so for me, it was a real powerful totem. It was very powerful to see that play out. I was a great witness. I mean, that was something that you just can't share. You can't share with anybody. It's just like, you can't tell them what it looks like, you know. Yeah, it was a graphic scene, you know. It was, but you know what? It was also Mother Nature at her finest, playing out, showing us the things that happen every day. Okay, every single day, this happens. This plays out. Okay. I don't know. I just love the hawks and the birds. Okay. The next one is the moose. The moose. Okay, the moose is about authority. You know what's best for you. This is some powerful medicine right here. If you don't know anything about moose, anytime that you want to connect with moose energy, powerful energy, you just, and I haven't taught you this yet, but I'm going to, how would I say this? What I'm going to show you right now, okay, usually is what I teach in my classes. So those of you who are watching are going to get a little bit of class time. And lucky you called in today. You made your luck today by tuning in. So how do you engage animal medicine, okay, into your body? How do you engage it into your field? How do you gauge it? How do you bring it into your sphere? Okay. We're going to go with the moose medicine. Then we're going to go with another one, which is fox medicine. Those two I'll show you today. I'll show you how to do all the other ones too. but you'll have to come to my class. But anyhow, moose medicine. Moose medicine is about creating healthy limits and boundaries for yourself with the people around you and you around with other people. Okay? The moose is very authoritative. The moose is like the buffalo. It stands very still, very strong. It knows what it wants, and it doesn't want anybody to interfere with that. Moose is a very majestic, very powerful medicine. So when you have an issue with somebody who is violating your space, you have to create the barrier of moose medicine on. Okay, the moose medicine on, you create this barrier, this invisible barrier where people won't penetrate. You wouldn't even dare come near somebody if they have moose medicine on, because you know what? They're not going to let you, number one. And moose medicine is very powerful. So moose, yes, is very majestic, very powerful. And the moose is a reminder of creating healthy limits and boundaries with the people and other people that come into your space. So many people violate people's space because, you know, they think it's okay. A person who gives a person a hug without asking a person for a hug is violating somebody's space. It's not appropriate. You should always ask. Especially when people who are empathic, and empaths won't tell you until it's too late, until it's after the fact. So honor, be like the moose, honor and respect your space and other people's space. And invite. Can I give you a hug? You know when people say give you a hug and they say no, then you bow and you say thank you. You let it go. You don't go, oh man, come on, you don't want a hug. Some people don't want to be touched. Some people don't want to be engaged, and that's okay. There's a day when they will be or a day when they're not. If you get a hug from somebody, honor it and cherish it like it's going to be the last hug you're ever going to have. Okay? That's when we honor and respect ourselves, we honor and respect other people, is when we respect the barriers that are there and the things that we need to respect from one another. Okay? The other medicine I wanted to share with you is the fox medicine. Fox medicine is very powerful medicine. Fox is also about the illusions of things that we don't see, the things that are in front of us. Sometimes we look forward and we see one thing and it's not there. Fox never lives where you think fox lives. Okay? You may think fox lives in the woods, but the fox might be under your porch living in a little hole. That's how fox is. Crafty, shifty. Okay, but fox is very powerful medicine because when fox wants to hide, you can't find a fox. Okay? So how do you work fox medicine? When you don't want to be seen, or you don't want to be engaged, or you want things to, you want to disappear basically in a way, not completely invisible, you put fox medicine on. Fox medicine on. And then things that you want to keep to your personal self and you don't want to engage with other people, okay? Then it protects you. Then when you want to be seen and you don't want to have to be in that mode, you take fox medicine off. Very simple. Okay? So that's the one I'm going to give you. Fox medicine on, fox medicine off. Okay? And then, yes, it has trickster energy. Yes, it does. Fox is very, very, very smart. Fox is very intelligent. Okay, so we move out of that. So that's the tidbit. If you missed it, you're going to have to come to my class or rewind this video. Fox medicine on, fox medicine off. All right. Our next one is Mr. Frog. Mr. Frog. So, for those of you, start using your intuition. Intuitive time. Frog. What's the first thing that comes in your mind? Frog. I say frog, what happens? Iggy, I saw a frog today. I saw a bunch of frogs, Iggy. What do I do? What does that mean? Okay. Well, think about it. Frog is a creature that has a series of lives, okay, and a series of events that brings it to the point where it becomes a frog. Okay, frog. How's it start? Well, like most creatures, it comes from an egg, right? And they all evolve into whatever they evolve. But it becomes a tadpole, right? And from that tadpole stage, it's moving through its life in the water, living in water. Okay, a metamorphosis. Yes, a metamorphosis. That is correct. A change, a reaction, a complete restructuring of who you are, a purification, a clearing out. all right, of our system, clearing out of who we believe we are, clearing out one clutter and ready for allowing other things to come in. So the frog is about purification, understanding that my life began here in the water, okay? Like most of us, some of us are in the water right now. Some of us are swimming. We're tadpoling around. We're trying to figure out and move from one space to another space and try to make sure we don't get eaten by predators, which would probably be a fish, which is kind of interesting because the next one is a fish, but I'll tell you what kind of fish. So frogs will lay their eggs in what? Water that's kind of still, water that's not super movement, okay? That way it knows that its chances of its offspring to leave that pond, that little space, is much better than it would have been if it was in some fast-moving water. And they usually don't do well in the fast-moving waters anyhow. But then it's kind of like our lives, you know. We're at a point where we're in a transformation, yes, but we're in this stagnity of of youth. You know, we're kids, and all of a sudden we want to be adults. I want to be an adult, okay? But yet we missed out on that whole experience of being a child. And many of us go through that. So we have to go through the purification of living our lives and wanting to move into the next existence. And now we become a frog. We become a human being, a human adult. And here we are. Now you're in the transformation stage of a frog. Now you can't necessarily go back and have the same experiences, but you can go back and reminisce in memory, go back in memory and see those things. So the frog is here to remind you is purification. Take your time, enjoy, clear out the clutter, enjoy where you're at, learn what you need to learn where you're at, because you don't know how long you're going to be where you're at, because that might be where you're done. So frog means just take your time. If you make it to the stage of the frog, then embrace the things as a frog would. Frog is very quiet, very still, you know. And then when it has to do its thing, it does it. But then, like any creature that we're reading, they all have their cycles. Right? So don't be afraid to be a frog. Now the next one I got was pretty interesting because this card, I shuffled it and it's come up several times now. Okay, so I pulled the salmon card. Okay, El Salmon. So we have the salmon card. First thing that comes to your mind, salmon. Good eating. Put on a cedar plank. Those of you who eat meat. But salmon. Excuse me. So the first things that come to your mind, big fish, huge fish, lives in the streams, and then it moves out. And yes, the salmon is about determination. Absolutely. You know where you're going. Excuse me, and you will get there. So now the spirits of these animals are starting to connect. Now you're starting to get a little pattern. I hope you're picking up on a pattern right now, how these creatures are talking to you and how they're sharing their spirit with you by them giving the example, by doing what they're doing. So the salmon is born on the slow-moving waters, the rushing waters in the inlands, okay? Their eggs are laid there, and then as they grow, they start to swim out to sea. And when they go out to sea, they have to power through and struggle through the things that they see in the ocean, right? And they get pretty damn big. Some of them are humongously big. And then, but they always come back to their spawning grounds. They always come back to where they were born. Remember earlier when I was telling you about creatures when they're coming back to where they were from? Well, that's what salmon does. Salmon always remember where it's come from. So salmon's not saying you have to be that, because you can never be baby salmon. Okay? You can only go back excuse me where you were from. And that's where you began. So the salmon is there to remind you, okay, you can never, as soon as you become salmon, you can never go back to the aspects of what you used to be. You can force it, you can try it, but it can be hard. It's like stretching a rubber band. Once that rubber band is stretched, it's stretched. You can never go back. You can never go back to that aspect of yourself. You can only have a version of yourself at that point. You can only be partial at that point. That means that the salmon working diligently to return, Okay, so it can spawn, and breed in this water and leave its DNA behind, so the next generation could be stronger. Okay, it's determined. It's there to remind you that you will get there. And when you get there, what are you going to do when you get there? Most people, when they get there, they don't know what to do. They're like, okay, I'm here. What do I do? Well, what did you do to get you here? What happened? How'd you get here? Okay, what was your goal to get here? Now you're here. Now what? You're just gonna die and lay on the banks and get eaten by bears? Because that's what will happen if you don't have a plan. If you don't have an action. The salmons there remind you. Spirit of salmon reminds you. You have to have an action plan. Okay, even though you're determined and you're going to get there, you have to have a plan to know where you go once you get to where you want to be. Once you know where you've been, once you know where you've been, it makes it a lot easier, not so hard. So the salmon has already done the suffering for you. The salmon's already done all the work, but now you have to do the work that you need to engage in. So many of us want to get from A to Z. Okay, some of us are here and it's like, well, I want to be teacher now. But you're missing out on a whole myriad of experiences along the way that mold you and guide you and twist you and make you the teacher that you're going to be, or make you the human being you're going to be. If you skip A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you can go back to E and you can work on some things, bring it back in, but you're going to miss out on all this amazing juice, amazing flow that's in the middle. Without that, it's no fun. Okay, I'm ascended. I was descended, but I'm ascended. Well, tell me about experiences. So what'd you learn along the way? Well, I'm just ascended. You don't relate. You can't relate to anybody. I can't relate to somebody who's just there. But I can relate to the person who tells me, you know what? I broke my leg. I had a breakup. I made millions of dollars. I'm successful. I'm not successful. I lost everything. Stories. We're all about stories. Everything about the human existence is stories. Creating and making beautiful stories. And telling those stories with us. That's why we get around the campfires. That's why we get around drumming. That's why we do the things. That's why we congregate. So we can share our stories through song, through drumming, through all the different avenues that we create. With my friends, when we all drum and get together, we're really, what we're doing is telling our story. We're telling our story about where we've been, how we've been, what we're going to be doing next, what we would like to do next. There's some things that we learn when we're in these powerful circles, these fire circles, these drumming circles, about who we are and how it looks like and what it looks like. Powerful medicine. We don't do that in our society so much anymore. We may go to the club, we may go to a baseball game or basketball game, and you know what? That's not the same, because it's just not. The closest thing I could probably think is if you went to a camp or something, maybe that's something close. But to actually sit with another group of human beings and talk about everything and nothing at the same time, and playing your flute, playing your drum, and cooking marshmallows or s'mores, I don't care, in the fire, the sacred fire of life, because that's where man started. That's where the humanity grew, from that fire, from that breath of the sky, that breath of the sun, that little ash ember from the sky. That's how humanity became what it is today, because we were, and we always will be, the most vulnerable creature on this planet. We are vulnerable here and here if we're not careful. Our hearts are vulnerable if we allow them to be. Our minds are vulnerable if we allow them to be. Because we have an innate thing in us that we can't even explain sometimes, that we don't really see in the animal kingdom, even though I know they have it. But ours is so unique that we have compassion. Okay? And we have this innate connection to spirit. Okay, spirit talks to us all the time when we're ready to listen. It doesn't matter if we're not listening. Spirit's always talking to us. I love you too, Chris. Spirit always, always, always is in communion with us all the time. That's why life is so amazing and so powerful. But sometimes we fail to see the amazement and the beauty in that because we're so consumed in our story. Our story that is either a beautiful one or a dark one. It doesn't matter. A story's a story. But we have an opportunity to rewrite all these stories about who we think we are. And the animals are there to remind us about these stories. Okay? So it's perfect that this card comes up, the turtle. It's about retreat, stop trying to make something happen. It's about being in the fluidity of life, being in the flow, being in the twists and the turns and in the turbulence, in the calmness all at once. So the sea turtle, you know, it's one of those creatures, vulnerable. Mother Earth. When the turtle goes out to sea, even though it's on the land, on the sand, trying to fight its way to the ocean, it still has another battle once it gets to the ocean. You know, it's food. It's somebody else's food. And out of thousands of turtles, maybe 100 make it. You know, being a human, our chances of survival are much greater than some of our brethren in the animal kingdom. So the turtle is here to remind us to be fluid, and to flow, and to move, and to dance in the rhythms of the water, and to come up and breathe sometimes. Sometimes we're going to hold our breath. Sometimes we're just going to let go. You know, because the turtle holds its breath. And turtle is just saying, just be mindful of what's in front of you, what you have. That your breath is very powerful, because you don't know when your last breath is going to be. We don't know. We're not guaranteed our next breath. You know, so our next breath is not guaranteed. So turtle's there to remind us, breathe. Relax. Just be fluid with the water. Move. Engage. Dance. Twist. Turn. Bend. Be grateful for what's around you, your surroundings. Be grateful for the things you have. Okay? That's what turtle does. That's what turtle is, a good medicine. So our spirit animals are always talking to us. They're always connecting to us. Now, how do we pick spirit guides? Now, my suggestion is that when you pick spirit guides, is have them either, they could be permanent for you. That's fine. For me, there are ones that are permanent. They'll always be with me. But there's other ones that come into my life for that moment in time. I carry them for that moment. They're there to guide me through these things. For example, I pull the elephant card, okay? The elephant card is about resolve. You will overcome any obstacle. I'm going through obstacles and I'm resolving things. And it's here to remind me, the elephant's there to say, hey, you know what? Even the biggest of us has issues and problems. Even the small of us have issues and problems that we can overcome. The obstacle is only as big as we make it. Okay, we can make it bigger, we can make it smaller, we can understand that it will pass. So the elephant also it's a reminder that it's about communicating, you know, non-verbally. You know, they don't always communicate. If you know anything about elephants, they can stomp their feet and they can hear 2 to 3 miles away the vibration and know what they're saying. That's an inherent telepathy, an inherent intuitiveness that the elephant has to overcome the obstacles it has. Okay? So, the elephant is there to remind us, you know what? Creating what we need to create. We're going to have obstacles. We're going to have things coming our way, but you know what? We can move them, go around them, go under them, go over them. Now, one of my favorite cards of all, okay, is the dolphin. The dolphin's there to remind us to play. It's time to play in playfulness. Okay, so dolphin is a very fluid creature like the turtle, except it's a mammal, so it's able to, you know, give birth to its babies, you know, that way. So it's another creature that has to come up and breathe. Hi Adriana, how are you? So we have to come up and we have to breathe. We can't stay too long under the water or it'll do us in, but we can come up. Dolphin reminds us to play, and dolphin reminds us to move and to bend, to twist, to fun. And you know what? And dolphins probably have the best attitude of most of the creatures that I'm aware of. Okay, and they can be kind of nasty sometimes, because I've heard some crazy stories, but we won't get into those. But dolphins are there to remind you. See, so if you pull dolphin card, dolphin energy, it's just a reminder that you could be in your element and out of your element all at the same time. Okay, so if you think about it, a dolphin out of water is out of its element. A dolphin in its water, it's in its element. Okay, a dolphin also has to breathe air. So it's a reminder to be playful and to be in the moment, to understand that this is where we're at, this is where we need to be. And that's your dolphin. Okay. Now, I know we're getting a bunch of water friend creatures here, but I love these creatures. I pulled the seal one. The seal's about imagination. Immerse yourself in the artistic creative expression. Okay, so now we pulled the seal card. The seal card's also it's another water sign card. There's a spirit is talking to me or one of you guys out there. All right, one of you guys out there is needing this information. Spirit is telling you to be fluid, to let go, and to let the cleansing waters cleanse you. Okay, and to let you be where you need to be, because if you don't do it, it's going to cause you suffocation, because water can suffocate you. Water can purify you. Water is one of those things that without it, you know, we can do ourselves in. So the seal is about using your imagination. Okay, so when you are approached by seal, for example, seal is telling you to use this. Your imagination is more powerful, okay, than all the knowledge that you can actually create or put in your brain. But from that imagination, we create the knowledge that we seek out there. So you see what I'm saying? There's this combination. Seal is also a playful creature. It also reminds you to play. Also reminds you to be where you need to be. Okay, so never discount seal, because seal is also vulnerable, but very fluid in the water. So the fluidity that we need to gain is by purifying water. So for those of you who are listening to this show, instead of taking a shower today, you're going to go and take a bath. You're going to take a salt bath. You're going to lay there, and you're going to feel the water cleanse you and move through you and heal you and soothe you. Okay, so Adriana wanted a card. So here's the lion. The lion is courage. Ask for what you want. Okay, so when we see lion, it conjures up many images in our mind. The image could be of, you know, regalness, strength, majesty, you know. But it's also, remember, it's a feline, so it's a cat. It's also a reminder that there's a time and a place for everything, and not to push it and rush it, and not to be afraid. And then when we're in that space, not to be afraid, not to worry, because things will work itself out. And that's the lion card. The lion card is to know your environment, and to know where you're at, and to know what's happening around you, and to know who's in your circle, who's in your pack, who's in your pride, as they would say in the Lion Kingdom. You know, who's in your pride? Are you proud that they're in your pride? You know, are you good that they're there? And lions love forever. Lions are very dedicated to their pride. And once you're in the lion's pride, it's very difficult to get kicked out of the pride. Very hard to get kicked out of pride, unless, you know, of course, you do something bad or just get old. But anyhow, you will leave the pride from, you know, being courageous, being love and honoring, working together. It's about teamwork when you're in the pride. So remember that. So when you get a card like you get the card for lion, it's a reminder that we have to work together. It's not just one person doing all the work. All right. So lions are loving. Lions are very sexual. Lions are very powerful. Lions are very energetic. Okay, and lions are loyal, yes, and they're loyal to almost to a fault. But the lion's there to remind you to, you know what? that you stand in your courage, stand in your pride, stand in the energy that makes you who you are, and then the world will see you for who you are versus how they think you are. Okay, so the next card, okay, as we're getting here, is the whale. It's about soul's path, honor your soul's purpose. Okay, it's another water creature, the whale. The whale is another creature that's, it doesn't breathe water. It breathes air. It's also a mammal, and it's also reminding us to know where your environment is, to know what your path is, what we're walking. Because what happens is, if we're not walking our path, and we're not walking in the path that we choose, or the path that we think we are, it's like being out of water. You're beached. When a whale becomes beached, it becomes so vulnerable to every element known to man, sun, animals, insects, everything. So our path, from time to time, we fall from our path from time to time. There's times where we get a little distracted, a little derailed. But the whale's there to remind you, no matter how big and how powerful and how majestic you think your path is and where you think you're going to go, if one little thing throws you off kilter and one little thing throws you off, are you going to be beached? Are you going to be just incapacitated? The whale's there to remind you not to become incapacitated, not to become incapacitated to the fact that you can't do anything. Honor your path, honor your soul, honor your purpose, honor the spirit animal that's there, honor the things that are around you. Know that we're all my relations. And that's what spirit animals do. So, before we go into our meditation, I want to pull this card out because this is one of my favorite cards. This is the dragonfly. Okay? The dragonfly is about illusions. You know who you really are. Okay? If you know anything about dragonflies, they're kind of those little creatures that don't always begin with wings. Okay? They actually live in the water. Their first incarnation is to, live in the water. Their whole life is being an insect in the water, insexual inside the water, living in there, breathing and living in the water. Okay, they're kind of like almost like the butterfly. They just go through this transformation, this evolution, this change of themselves. It's the illusion. It's the illusion that we are, and we think we are this. Then the illusion is revealed to us and shown to us that it's not. Then all of a sudden, we went from insect to flying creature, which we call dragonfly. Okay, the dragonfly has 4 wings. Okay, those are the 4 cardinal points of the medicine wheel. Also, as a reminder, a dragonfly can go forwards and backwards and up and down. It's kind of by the basis where helicopters came from. Okay, the dragonfly. The dragonfly is there to remind you that, you know what, you're going to be at point A one day. And you're going to move through all these illusions of what you think life has given you, and all the crap that you've gone through, and all the things that have molded you. But when you come out at this end as the dragonfly, it's a reminder that, you know what, you're going to be much different than from where you were here. You may not look the same, you may not sound the same, but you will know the changes inside of you. You will see the changes. How many of you have had dragonflies appear right in front of your face, or just appear right next to you, or you've been in a massive swarm of dragonflies? I've been there. That is the coolest thing ever. Anybody else have that? Because that's so freaking amazing to be, blessed with that opportunity to see this. I've seen some really crazy stuff. And you know what? Maybe it's not crazy. Maybe I just happen to be at the right place at the right time. And you know what? And I get to experience something that, only I get to see once in my life. And other people, get to see other crazy, amazing things. But to see a swarm of dragonflies and they're just hovering around you, bouncing up and down, and you're going, wow, this is so amazing. It's the most enchanted feeling that I've ever had in my life. I'll never forget that feeling. When you see all these dragonflies, just like they're like looking at you, and they're more curious about who you are versus what's going on. It kind of gives you the chills a little bit. It's almost like they're going to grab you and fly you off somewhere. And then as fast as they've gotten there, they just disappear just as fast. It's pretty amazing. Now, I will be having a class here about animal totems and spirit animals and stuff, and how we actually connect with them. We don't have enough time on this show to actually show you how to do that. Some of you probably have your own techniques and stuff to do that, but I'm going to give you one really quick. For example, we're going to go back, and in order to connect with the animal spirits and how they connect with us, okay, we have to almost become them. We almost have to engage them. We almost have to feel them and be like them. Okay, so let's all pretend, okay, that we're a lion. Okay, let's all take a moment to think and to feel and to breathe what a lion would feel like. Okay, I want you to take a moment, and I just want you to think outside the box a little bit, and I want you to feel and let go, and I just want you to start feeling what it feels like to be majestic, what it feels like to be prideful, what it means to be strong, powerful. And I want you guys just to go roar. I just want you to roar. Just like a lion. You know, they don't go rah, they go roar. It comes like deep down inside their chest. So try that. Let me hear your best roar. I think you're doing it. I'm going to trust you're doing it. And then just feel the energy. So you got to feel the energy. In order to connect with your spirit animal, you have to connect and feel what it feels like to be a lion. To feel what it's like to be a dragon. I don't know what a dragonfly would feel like, but that would be kind of interesting. But you have to take that journey, okay, and feel that journey. So what we're going to do now, I want you to just sit back. I want you to relax. I'm going to burn a little wormwood here, okay? I'm going to take you on a little journey. You guys want to go on a little journey real quick? Everybody tell me yes or no, because we just end the show right here. I don't know if you're with me. We'll go on a little journey, okay? That way we can... Alright. So let's get some journey music. Alright. I just want you all to feel where you're at. Just kind of get your bearings. We're going to shift here a little bit now. We're going to move from one place to another. And I just want you to shake. And I just want you to move your arms. Stretch it all out, man. Just let it all go. Oh, yeah, it feels good. We're going to do a little soul retrieval, okay? So, I want you to have an open mind on this journey that we're going to take. I just want you to feel and let go of whatever you need to let go. And I want you to bring back whatever you need to bring back. Yeah, you can eat an apple while you're doing it. That's fine. This is your journey, not mine. I'm just here to guide you like the animals. Okay? That's funny. Okay, so just be yourself. Okay, and wherever you want to be, wherever you need to land, that's fine. Now, what I would like you to do, if you're sitting down, or if you are laying in bed, if you're eating an apple, just take a moment, relax. If you can, feet flat or legs straight out, palms to your side or palms on your lap. Okay? I just want you to just take a deep breath through your nose. Inhale and release out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Inhale. Now I want you to pick a number, okay? 1 through 100. Okay? Any number. 1 through 100. Okay? That number, I want you to hold it in your mind's eye. That number will be the number that brings you back if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like you need to return back to this space, back to where you're at. Okay? This is your journey, so anytime you want to open your eyes, anytime that you want to let go of this journey and just come back to your reality, your place in space, okay, you can. Now I want you to pick a color, any color in the rainbow, any color that's not been seen by the human eye, only through your imagination. This color is your color that will be your safe armor. You have 2 ways of traveling through your safe armor. You can create a bubble, or you can create a suit around your body, engulfed in protection, guiding you, protecting you. So is this bubble. At all times you'll be protected in your journey. Okay, but we need the bubble in order for us to travel through the dimensions of our mind. If you close your eyes, we begin to move our sphere, our armor. We begin to levitate. We begin to levitate slowly up into the sky. We begin to move faster and faster. And as we travel up into the sky, we look around, we see the waters, we see the mountains, we see the cities, the lights. We progress higher and higher up into the atmosphere, leaving the atmosphere into space, getting ready to go on this magical race. Now we begin to spin just slightly, spin around. We twist, we turn into our directional guides, point us in the direction we need to go. We begin to move forward as we put our hands in front of us. We begin to move forward in space, faster than the speed of light. We're moving and traveling. Supersonic sound, we travel. Faster than light, faster than it's ever been traveled. Since we're in our protective gear, we can go as fast as we want. And as we travel through space and time, bending it, twisting it, going through the wormholes, we see stories of our lives. We see stories of things that we've encountered, things that we've seen. We see colors, we see people, we see faces as we travel faster and faster. And as we travel faster and faster, we see all kinds of colors. We see light, us passing light, and light being passed by us. And we come to this beautiful, amazing green planet that resembles ours. And we come to it. We take a deep breath, release. We begin our descent down to the planet. Slowly, gently, easy. And we arrive. We step out of our sphere that brought us here with our protective armor still on. We step onto the ground and we feel the dew, the wet grass beneath our feet. We wiggle our toes and we feel the wetness beneath them. We begin to walk. We begin to walk in the grass towards the opening, which is the opening that brings us to the beach. We come to the beach. And when we're on the beach, we see the majestic eagle sitting there on its perch, just sitting, waiting for our arrival, waiting for us to be there. The eagle summons us to come closer. We walk closer to the eagle, and closer, face to face with the eagle. The eagle bows to us. The eagle says, "Welcome. Would you like to fly with me so I can show you my world?" So the eagle says, "Don't be afraid. You have protection. Put your arms out. Move them up and down. Up and down, like I am," the eagle says. And you begin to lift. You begin to levitate. You begin to fly. And the eagle's proud and happy. And the eagle says, "Follow me." And then you begin to flap your wings and you follow the eagle. Flying with the eagle. Soaring high into the sky. The eagle's moving faster and quicker. You work hard to keep up. Because you've never flown like this before. This is the first time for some of you. And you're flying and gliding. And the eagle says, "Let's take a dive." And so you begin to dive faster towards the water. And at the last very second, the eagle pulls up. And you watch as the eagle does that. You are ready to almost hit the water, and you pull up at the very last second, soaring faster and quicker, feeling the heat beneath your wings, flapping faster and quicker. And then the eagle comes back to its perch, and it lands, and you follow. And the eagle points to an opening in the woods. The eagle says, "You must take this journey. Your journey begins there." "Thank you for flying with me," said the eagle. And we bow to one another and we give thanks. I begin to walk and remember the story of the eagles and how they flew and how high we flew together. I begin to walk to the opening where the eagle had told me to go. I walk towards the space, and I notice that it's dark, a little bit darker than usual, darker than where I had been. And I walk about 1,000 paces into the forest, and I can see the beams of light traveling through the treetops, breaking and bending and twisting as some of the light struggles to get in. And then I come to this cabin. This cabin awaits me. Out of nowhere it appears. And there's a door, and I knock on the door. And as I knock on the door, a little man opens it and welcomes me in. He says, "Welcome, traveler. Come in. How may I help you?" And you say, "I seek the lodge of my mother." So you walk into the lodge, and you look around, and the man says, "Leave all your belongings here. You can leave your ego here in the door. You can leave it here to rest." And without hesitation, you leave your ego. You talk to your ego and you say, "Please wait here for me. I shall return." And so you leave your ego in the little cabin and you shut the door. And you begin to walk. And then in front of you lands a raven. The raven of magic. And the raven says, "Follow me." You begin to follow the raven. You begin to walk. As you walk down this path, being guided by the raven, you start to feel the presence on your right of a very majestic, beautiful creature presenting itself to you. An animal spirit presents itself to you. And you look to your right, and you see this majestic creature walking side by side with you. Walking with you on this path. And the both of you are walking together with the raven in front of us, guiding the magic. You feel another presence on your left. You begin to feel this energy, this magic, this warmth, and another creature appears and walks with you. Now both creatures are walking side by side with you, holding space for you, protecting you. And you notice them both, how they stand there, holding space for you. You come to an opening in the forest, which bright light all around. Beautiful bright light. Then your animals stop, they sit, and they nudge you forward, because in the middle of this woods, where the brightness comes in, is an amazing blue flame. An amazing blue, powerful flame. As the raven circles this flame, the raven stands at your feet, and the raven says, "Proceed to the blue flame. Seek that you look for. Bring back the pieces and parts." So you walk towards the flame. You begin to walk closer and closer, and you feel the warmth of this flame. A beautiful warmth. You begin to look into the flame. You begin to look into the flame. You step into the flame. And inside the flame is a spiral spinning around above you. And as you look up, you look to the side, you look left. And when you look back down, there presents to you a beautiful spirit, an animal spirit presents itself to you in this flame. And it brings back messages for you. It brings back energy, love, hope, desire, courage, all the things that you hope to obtain. The beautiful animal gives you a spirit. It gives you a part of itself. It gives you a message. You feel it and you take it into your spirit, into the place where it's empty. And as easy as, and as fast as you took that message, the animal spirit is gone. You begin to walk out of the flame. You turn and you look and you see both of your animal spirits there. You see both of your animal spirits there, and you walk towards them as they await for you. And then you all begin to walk together back up the path as the raven flies above you, leading the way, leading you back to the cabin. Back to the cabin where you were. And as you look to your right, your animal guide on your right goes into your spirit, into your soul, absorbed. And as you looked into your left, the animal spirit is into your spirit, into your soul, absorbed, filling the spaces, the empty spaces. You come to the cabin. The door is already open. And when you look inside, the raven is waiting. And at that moment, the raven bows. Your ego returns, and your ego welcomes you, and you welcome it. You both become one again. You leave together. You walk out. You walk towards the opening of the forest, out to the beach. As you walk out, you feel the sun upon your face, the smell of the salt upon your body and in your nose, and on your lips as you taste the salt. You see your friend, the eagle, as it bows to you as you walk past, for the eagle knows that you have received a message. You walk back towards the field which you began. You feel the dew beneath your feet. And then you step into your sphere, your bubble. And then your bubble spins and turns. You lift your arms up, and it begins to rise up into the sky, higher and higher. And as you look down, you see the eagle. You see the woods, and you see the raven flying above the trees. You begin to go into the atmosphere, beyond the atmosphere. You begin to travel into space. Then you look around and you see all the beautiful stars and the planets. And then you begin to move your hands forward, and you begin to travel faster and faster, quicker and quicker. And you just begin to move faster than the speed of light, supersonic speed and sound. faster than light, faster than anything that's ever been imagined. You begin to see the stories rewritten, the stories retold, the healing, and the things that are most valuable and close to your heart. You begin to move quicker and faster, moving through space and time, moving through the wormholes, through the black holes. Then you return back to planet Earth. And as you return back to planet Earth, you stop and you look in amazement and wonderment. You begin to descend back down to the atmosphere. You begin to descend faster and faster. Once you break the atmosphere, once you have penetrated the earth, you begin to slow down, and you notice the mountains, the oceans, the city lights. You begin to descend. As you put your hands down, you begin to descend slowly back to the space where you began. You begin to descend back to your chair. You begin to descend back to your bed. You begin to descend wherever you're standing, holding your apple, eating it, and you return back to which you began your journey. And within that journey, you've brought back pieces and parts that need to be healed and worked on. The holes that were empty are no longer empty, and the healing that you need to heal are now much better. You filled it with a brand new existence, a brand new hope. You remember the animals that you had with you on the right, on the left. You remember the dance with the eagle. You remember the guiding of the raven. You begin to remember the spirit animal that was in the blue flame in your home. And when you're ready to open your eyes, and when you're ready to receive, you are back in the space which you call home. You're back in the space which is close to your heart with the pieces that you've retrieved. All right. I hope everybody's back. I hope everybody got the things they needed, the pieces and the parts that they had to share. I hope that you were able to travel on this journey, able to see the things that you needed to see. Working with the spirit animals is very powerful medicine. You know, they're all around us. They're all my relations, and they're there to help us and guide us, just like we would have other types of guides. The animals do speak to us. So when these animals, when you retrieve these pieces and parts, they do communicate to you. They do speak on a level and in an energetic place that maybe we're not aware of, but yeah, they do that. So, you know, hopefully you got what you needed, received what you needed to receive, let go of what you needed to let go of. Okay? Because that's our journey. Our journey is about self-discovery. Our journey is about self-healing. It's about where we want to be and what we want to be, how we want to see the world, and what the world means to us and how the world looks to us. Because our worlds are ours, and no matter how other people look at it, you know, people can never walk in your shoes. As much as you would want them to understand, they can't. But you can paint a picture to them of what maybe it would look like, okay? And what it feels like by sharing your story. When you share your story to other people, okay? When you share your story with other people, it gives them hope. It gives them the opportunity to know that they're not alone. Most of us feel alone, and most of us are alone because when we have to think about a lot of things, and our minds are very powerful. Our minds are powerful. Okay, we can create scenarios, we can create, you know, all kinds of stuff in there. So, understanding that your ego is valuable and very important, we also have to calm our ego and relax our ego. Our ego is something that is very fragile. So when you do these meditations, talk to your ego, relax your ego, let your ego know to let go of my ego. You know, you have to let go a little bit, not destroy it. We don't want to destroy anything. We want to be able to incorporate in it to function with us. So the animal spirits that you have collected along the way, if those of you would like to share as we're online what animals that you saw in the journey, you can put it here, or you can just leave me an email, whatever. Hopefully you got something. Hopefully you saw something on the right, saw something on the left, saw something in the blue flame. Okay, the blue flame is a powerful medicine. So I hope you had a good journey with me. I hope that you like what we're doing. Please visit me at iggygarcia.com if you want information about what I do, the work I do. This Wednesday at 6:30 to 8:30, okay, in Columbus, Ohio. Those of you who live in Columbus, Ohio, we're going to have a sound gathering of healing. Basically, it's like a sound bath, okay, with different types of instruments, no drums, where we actually have an energy share, where we actually run energy on each other, work on each other, and that's at Whetstone Park, right, at 6:30 to 8:30. If you can make it, I recommend you come. If you can't come to that, we have a drum circle at Alum Creek Park, okay, Alum Creek Beach, okay, and I think that's in Delaware, I believe. You can look on my Facebook page. Lewisburg, I think is what it is. Lewisburg, yeah. When we're gonna Alum Creek, just look up Alum Creek Beach. That's from 1 to 5:30, I believe, something like that. So we're gonna have a drumming. So that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things we're gonna be doing. So remember. The webpage isn't up yet, but My Sage Place is our new holistic center here in Columbus. For those of you who didn't hear that in the beginning, Jan, Kevin, and I have started a center. There'll be other people who are going to come on board and work with us. It's a great time to be doing the work we do. It's pretty amazing, pretty fantastic. But I always enjoy being here with you. I'm always enjoy sharing my insights, and that's what we call it With Insights Radio. WithInsightsRadio.com is listener supported radio, so we do ask for donations. There are a donation button there, so if you feel called to donate, you can donate at iggygarcia.com or withinsightsradio.com. That way we can keep these broadcasts going and these meditations and online things that we do, because we want to share with the world, you know, our gifts in the same way that we share. We would like you to share with us, so we can all work together, we can all raise the vibration, so we can all go to a higher place. And you know, because the world's a tough place sometimes to live, and you know, sometimes it's just, you know, it can be hard. But I'm going to read some of these because I think it's really important. I think it's pretty cool. Let's see, Connie, she said, dinosaurs walked with me and an owl greeted me in the blue flame with a deer hanging in the background. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. Okay, the messages that the animals give you, you don't have to share the message because those are personal for you and whatever they are, but the animals are important. Now, what I would tell you to do is to actually, you know, decipher what that message is, why this animal greeted you on this side, or this animal greeted you on this side, and why this animal greeted you in the blue flame. Journal this. It's important to journal. Get a journal or get a piece of paper and write down exactly what you felt, what you saw, because if you don't, you're going to forget it, you're going to lose it, and you're defeating the purpose. So I highly recommend, okay, that you at least journal. Begin to journal all your thoughts. Begin to journal everything, because that's where we can warehouse and store the tidbits of who we are and how we become, how we've evolved, and how we move through this space and time, and how we moved on this planet. Our biggest legacy is the things we write and leave behind for others to read. Okay? So that's important. Alright? Alright, guys, I want to say thank you. And let me see. And then someone else got a unicorn on my right, a blue dragon on my left, and then I fell asleep during the blue flame part. Okay, cool. You needed a little rest. You know what? It may be frustrating right now, but it may come to you in a dream tonight It may also be that, you know, the other two animals will help you guide to figure out what happened. It's easy to fall asleep during these meditations, and that's pretty, you know, pretty evident. But you know, guys, I really, really, really appreciate you, and you know, all the support we can do is to keep, you know, this programs and stuff going and sharing. That way we can, because not everybody can afford to do these or go to a practitioner. That's why we do these shows, so we can know that there's hope, and want to share hope with people. And you know, when you share the love, you get more love back. So we're here to share what we share, do what we do, love what we love. Okay, and you know, share with me what you've learned and what you get out of these shows. I'd like to know. I'd like to have some feedback on things that you would like me to share with you. Okay, because there's only limited time, but if there's a topic you would like us to show, especially when we do our shows on Thursday, that would be my Sage Plays Radio. We're gonna be doing that, which will be Jan and I will be doing a co-show. Our guest coming up this week will be our friend Jayla. She's gonna be on. We're gonna have her on the show, so you get to hear her insights and the things that she's doing in the world. So you know, with you guys, you know, it's always a plus. It's always fun, and you know, just tell me if you like it. Just give me a little bit of love. Let me know. Just hit a little bit of the buttons there, the little hearts and stuff. If this is what you're enjoying, you're liking, and it's doing something for you. Because regardless if, you know, if it's not doing it, it's doing a lot for me. Being able to share my story with you and the things that are going on in my heart and my spirit, and it makes me feel great that I'm able to share with, you know, with you a part of myself, a part of the work that I do, and the part of the things that I do, you know, because if we don't share, it's lost. You know, we don't want to become like, you know, a lot of medicine people of old, that because they weren't willing to share, they lost traditions. We can't lose traditions. We're a new generation of sharing. Our children today, the young people today, are amazing. The things that they're able to tap into, able to work, and able to move. You know, for those of you who saw The Force Awakening, that whole story was about how the next generation simulates that faster than the older generation. Okay, so if you missed that in that movie, of Star Wars movie, okay, it's about the old paradigms shifting and the new paradigms into, you know, how things, and the new and the old working together and shifting together and looking at life much differently. Some of you know that there are young people who just get it really fast, and some of us took us a long time to figure out how to do a lot of this stuff, or get connected with our spirit sides and our social sides and our metaphysical sides, our empathic sides, okay, and our light worker sides. But it's every day we're working on that. And I think Sue said, I had an emerald green dragon on my right and a deer on my left, and a hawk met me in the flame. That's awesome. That's cool. I like that. So, alright guys, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. We'll be back on Thursday, 8 p.m. and sharing our insights with you. Love you very much. Be well, take care, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay? IggyGarcia.com, Iggy Garcia, Ho'oponopono, much love, peace and love, okay? And you guys be well. I'll see you soon. Hope to see you at the sound bath, hope to see you at the drumming, and talk to you soon. Be well.